Welcome to Legends Live. What you just saw is the promo video for a brand new Legends Care program that the NBRPA just announced and just went live. The Legends HBCU Scholarship for undergraduates attending HBCUs across the country is live now. You can find out more at legendsofbasketball.com/HBCU. Welcome. I would like to welcome in our special guest today. We have former California Golden Bear. We have former Vancouver Grizzly. He was an All-Star with the Atlanta Hawks, as well as an Olympic gold medalist. And he is the current president of the G League and the founder of the Future Foundation. We have Shareef Abdur-Rahim with us.
Tyler, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. First things first, how are you? I like to ask the legends how they're doing. So how are you?
We're blessed. We're doing well. Everyone's staying healthy. Obviously, the last year plus has been an experience, and we've all had to work through challenges and kind of pull together. But overall, we're hanging in and just blessed.
Definitely. Now, when I was introduced, you wear a lot of hats, so I like to add, like, did I miss anything? I feel like I missed a few titles. I know you were assistant coach, general manager, director of player personnel. What did I miss?
Well, dad and husband.
Okay, those are the big two.
Yeah,
those are the big two.
Well, otherwise we're square. We're good.
Okay. As I mentioned, you are president of the G League. How did that role come about for you?
Yeah, so I've been at the league office. I think 6 years now, 6.5 years. And my prior 4 years before heading to the G League, I was with, I was in league operations, so NBA league operations, and helping things there with on court matters and so forth. And really Malcolm Turner, who was in that role prior. He left for an opportunity, and me being there, the opportunity was presented to me, and I thought a lot of what I've been doing since I retired. I'd gone back and got my master's, so got my MBA, and had done some internships at the NBA in some of the different business verticals. During my time with the Sacramento Kings, I ran the G League team, so it kind of just fit,
Right.
a lot of the experience, playing and understanding the trajectory of a player's career and development and so forth. So it fit, and I'm having a great time leading the G League and learning. I work with some great people, and obviously these have been extraordinary times. We're all just working through in business, but it's been a great experience so far.
So what does that role look like for you? Like you mentioned the pandemic, like working through all that. I know I'm certain there's a lot more virtual stuff, but what does your role look like?
Yeah, so in general, the G League serves as the development arm of at this point our NBA team. So we're 30 NBA teams at the G League. We're 28 G League teams that are owned or operated by NBA teams.
Okay.
We last year we launched our Team Ignite that is it has a purpose for young high school players that are on their way to the NBA, that they spend time with us in the G League on that team. And then we're in the process of launching a team in Mexico. So in all, I oversee it's overseeing the basketball development for the next generation of NBA players, the business operations of the G League, and looking to grow the value of the G League and add value to the NBA teams, and then just the strategy and planning of what that becomes and what that looks like going forward.
Now, as part of the development, it's a lot of younger guys. As president of the G League, how would you feel about guys in the G League, speaking their mind about, social justice or social issues, some of the things going on now? Like we've seen how it's been handled at the NBA level. So how do you handle it at the G League level?
We encourage it. We encourage it. We want to be a part of the process of our guys having information, being educated, and amplifying their voices. I think what's different about our G League players is that they don't always have the same platform.
Right.
Their platform, their followings, their profiles aren't as big as NBA players, of course. So from a G League standpoint, we want to make sure that we are that platform for them. And we can put them up on our channels. We can give visibility to the work that they're doing, and we try to do that to the best of our abilities. But we want to make sure that their voices are heard, and at the same time, they have insight and information into what's going on.
Definitely. Now, you mentioned the G League Ignite just finished their first year as a way kind of for prospects out of high school to have an alternative to college basketball. So how, in your eyes, how did the first season go?
It was tremendous. I thought it went great, and that's on the heels of everything that was going on around the world, how difficult it was to get together and play basketball. I thought the group we had some really great young men, Jalen Green, Jonathan Kuminga, Dacian Nix, Isaiah Todd. It was just an unbelievable group. They will go down as our first class of Ignite, and we're extremely proud of them. But they competed and showed well. I thought they learned a lot. A lot of the basketball is highlighted. Brian Shaw, legend, former NBA player, legend, is the coach of that team. Rod Strickland is the program director of the group. And a lot is highlighted around the basketball, but I thought we were able to do an outstanding job helping to start their process of education around the business of basketball, around life as a professional basketball player. We had a lot of resources that we share with them that just help them prepare. Healthy relationships, wellness and mental health. All of them, in addition to paying them to play in the G League, we provide all of them scholarships that they take advantage of, currently or in the future. So all of them, signed up and took classes through Arizona State University. So, it just starts that, as from the G League to the NBA to legends, it is a lifetime connection and brotherhood that you have. And, they started with us, and we're so excited that we were able to be a part of their process to heading into the NBA.
Now, I mentioned that you went to Cal. I'd like to go back with the legends a little bit. First things first. What got you from Marietta out to Berkeley? That's quite the jump to take.
Yeah, at that time, Todd Bozeman was the head coach at Cal, and it was Cal was kind of on the rise at that point. It was I was a couple of years behind Jason, and he had a great run. So that kind of gave visibility where a kid from the southeast knew of Cal. Right. But Coach Bozeman he did a great job of recruiting me and really sharing all that the university had to offer, and not just come here and play basketball, but the educational prowess of the university, the professors at that time. Professor Harry Edwards was still a professor at Cal, so talk to me about that. Being a Muslim, they had some of the top Islamic studies professors. All the activism that was going on the campus. So, this was me at 18 years old. Like, he came into my living room with like huge cardboards of like pamphlets and pullouts from the university. This is before PowerPoints. I tell you,
he didn't have TikToks to show you.
Way before that, and he just did a great job of explaining and sharing all that the university had to offer, and it was really, his approach was really unique in that sense, and it was best decision that I made. I'm extremely happy I made that decision.
Now I feel like it may be hindsight 2020, but would you think Shareef at 18, like, is the G League Ignite? You think that's something that would have appealed to you?
It would have fit. So my high school year, the same high school class as Kevin Garnett, and Kevin made the jump, right? And I think it was different. Like Kevin started changing the way we thought about things because at the time we thought he was crazy. Like
right.
you didn't even think that's before like one and done. You didn't even think about coming out of high school.
Yeah.
In the next year, I had a much better freshman year than I expected, and I left school after my freshman year. Stephon Marbury left school after his freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
Obi entered that year. Jermaine O'Neal entered that year. So things shifted really quickly, and I think the way kids are thinking now, they have so much more access to our game, so much more access to us as former players, current players, that they think differently. They think that they can do it. So everything that's provided again, we go at it's not, we don't play that group doesn't play a complete 50 games. We really emphasize development. We try to emphasize education and just giving them a full experience. It would have been something that would have been intriguing to me, definitely.
Something I was going to ask you, I feel like you answered it though. Like you did 1 year at Cal, but did you ever consider like making that jump with Kevin? Because he was the first guy to do it, and I in like a couple decades, I believe.
Yeah, not seriously. That time I mentioned it to myself and to my mother, and they thought like I would be like a late lottery pick, and again, like I just didn't think of myself that way. I'd never played against pros. I hadn't even played against that many college players in high school, and the time at Cal was necessary for me. Like I said, I think young men now, they have so much more access to our game. Yeah. To players, to training, like they're better. It's a different. It really is a different time. The game, again, like you go different place. They can go different places around the world and be professional, and they're not scared to do that. So it's just again, like it's a different. It's a different time. It is.
Now, you mentioned like yourself and Stephon Marbury went after 1 year, and like you said, that was pretty rare at the time. So, like going into Cal, were you as went? Did you plan to stay 2 years, 3, 4 years? Like when did you realize, or I guess really start considering going pro?
I mean, it wasn't until the end of my freshman year that it was like a consideration. I kind of outpaced my own expectations. And people were having those conversations with me of where I could possibly be drafted, and it was kind of a whirlwind, honestly, because that's not the mindset I had coming into the season. Now like young men go into it's like you pretty much know he's going to be here,
right? What range or
and it wasn't. I mean, that information, like the mock drafts and none of that, none of that. None of that was available at the time. So, no, I expected to be in school, and that's how I approached it. That's how my family approached it, and it wasn't until after my freshman year really that we started having those conversations, and that just went really fast.
Yeah. Now, I talked to Antoine Walker, another member of that draft class. So I feel like I have to ask you: is that '96? Is that the best draft class of all time?
I have a hard time, it's like I have a hard time, saying that because I don't have context of like the previous classes, and I'm always try to be respectful to the legends and those that went before. So, 84 was a great class. I got a hard time putting our class over 84. Now everything after us, they can't touch us.
Okay. It was a 03 with LeBron, Bosh.
I had no problem saying that class is. I didn't realize it. He just did the piece on NBA TV. And the depth of the draft and what some of the guys accomplished. Like just further down the draft. I don't think you've ever seen that before. So I think our class was, stands up against any class. But again, I respect the legend, so I'll get a nod to 84.
Okay, that's fair. Because Twan was like, oh, without question, like he like didn't consider the past or the future. So I can respect you. Put some respect on the 84 draft.
Yeah.
So when you were drafted into the Grizzlies when they were in Vancouver.
Yes.
So what do you remember about Vancouver? Like just as a basketball city, about going there at, was it 19, 20 years old?
I was 19.
19.
It was. Look, Vancouver is a great city. It was a great experience for me. It was great maturity and growing up and experience for me. I can remember being on the airplane with my agent, and we were leaving California, and I had no idea where Vancouver was. I was asking him, I was like, man, where are we going? Like, where is Vancouver? And this is just a kid from Georgia. He was like, well, it's next to Seattle, and we had played. I played in the Pac-10 at that time.
Yeah.
And Seattle's we're University of Washington, so I could I was like, okay, I could
do somewhat, yeah.
I could put that together. But I mean, just great city, great culture, great history. I just I was there 5 years, so I just got to explore the city. As I got more comfortable and learn about the history, the people, food. I mean, it's just just unbelievable city. Basketball was growing there. They were excited about basketball. I would say they were more at that time. They were more basketball fans and fans of the NBA and the stars of the NBA than they were Vancouver Grizzly fans.
Right.
Right. So now when we played, we played the other Canadian team. We played the Raptors. They would go crazy, and they would, you saw the pride. But at that time, it was really about the stars of the NBA being able to come to Vancouver.
Right.
I think if we could have had more time there, you would have really developed into, a loyal fan base, right? Yeah. But just unbelievable city, unbelievable people. I learned so much there. I mean, that's just a great experience. I enjoyed my time there. So much. It was awesome. And I think the one thing I'd say, although the Grizzlies didn't stay there, Toronto's been able to stay, there. You saw what you've seen, over that. I guess it's been 25 years or so.
Yeah.
And you start to see now, more from the northern, the Ontario area, the impact of basketball, the impact of the NBA, and all the players coming out. We've had, Robert Sacre and Kelly Olynyk. Ash, who was closer in my time, but you've had some of those players that came out of BC as well. But you've seen the impact from basketball being in Canada,
right?
And those players matriculating to the NBA.
Definitely, because now you got your Jamal Murray's and R.J. Barrett, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So I feel like that influence definitely had to have something to do with that.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned you were 5 years in Vancouver, then traded to your hometown Hawks. How was playing at home? Because I've heard mixed reviews, from people on playing at home. So how was it? What was that experience like for you?
It was great. To be able to share the NBA experience with your family and friends. Yeah, awesome. I think for me at that time, I was 5 years in. I think I just got married, so I was settled.
Right.
It was the right time. I think if I had been drafted, I see players
like at 19 going back
there. That would have been tough. Just people pulling at me, expectations. That would have been hard. I left home. I didn't go to school in Georgia. I started my pro career. So at that point, I was pretty comfortable. Knew how to say no.
Right.
But it was great. It was fun to be at home. I had a couple of great years there. We made the AllStar team. But it was fun.
You mentioned that AllStar team. I think 01, 02, I believe. What do you remember about that experience? Like, just not even the game, just like the entire weekend. What do you remember about that? What sticks out?
Wow, it's a couple of things. My wife was pregnant with our first. That's one. I got to meet Muhammad Ali. I took a picture. It was in Philadelphia. I took a picture before the game, courtside with Muhammad Ali. I still have that picture. That was
definitely
big. Michael Jordan was playing for the Wizards, so that was like weird and odd, but that was cool to kind of see him and his element and how much fun he had. And then T-Mac threw the ball off the.
There was that. Okay.
We were on the same team. He came down the lane and threw the ball off the backboard, and I can remember starting to go like it was a rebound, and see him following after and taking off, and that amazing play where he kind of threw the ball off the backboard.
Yeah.
That was great. But those are some of my memories.
Was that like, did anybody see that coming? Was that something like he had been working on in practice, or like I'm gonna break this out, or everybody was kind of just taking it back?
I mean, I think that's just the excitement and just how amazing our game is and our players are. Something like that. You can't even. That's not a thing. You can't do that in practice.
You just go with the flow on that. Mitchell, you were part of the Olympic gold medal team. So what do you remember about that experience? That was Sydney, I believe, Australia.
Yeah, I remember. One, we were gone forever. I can't. Training camp started like the end of September. We had to be gone from like the first of the end of July. Like we were gone like 6 weeks, and we trained in Maui. Then we were in Melbourne for some time, and then we had to be in Sydney 3 weeks or so, right? The memories there is just like the camaraderie. I think you do this with a lot of guys. One of the biggest misnomers, in my opinion, is that like all NBA players are friends, and the reality is like you don't get to spend a lot of time with guys. It's like in cities and out of cities, and we play, and you have like mutual respect for guys. But like on that team, for example, like Kevin Garnett was on that team. I hadn't spent any real time with Kevin probably since high school.
Really?
So Jason Kidd, another Cal guy. I had in years I hadn't. So Steve Smith, who he was a Hawk, and I grew up looking up to him. I'd never really spent time with him. So we were together so much, Alonzo Mourning. So you got to really know the guys and know their families. We weren't in the village. We were kind of in a salute kind of hotel that us and the women's team, like we had that hotel locked down. Right. It was kind of like a little small hotel, and the guys, we just there wasn't anything to watch on TV. This is before streaming things.
Right.
We really spent a lot of time together. We go bowling alley. We go bowl. We go watch other events together. Steve Smith and I, we go watch ping pong, for example, or track and field. So I remember that. I remember the opening ceremony and seeing all of the other athletes, and it was like cool to meet them and then see them go perform. And like I met Jermaine Taylor, the boxer. The Williams sisters, you just, the women's soccer team. So you saw, you just get to meet all these people prior to
that you would normally get to interact.
Right, because you're right there and open the ceremony, right? And like they're big stars. Some of them are rising. I believe the track runner Maurice Green, right? Yep. Like you meet these people. And like they're big. Some of them are like rising stars, and they're like telling you what they're gonna go do. I'm about to go
win the gold medal, and
you just take it like okay, and then you watch it, they go do it like okay, wow, like you did, So I mean, all of that was it was a great time, but mostly like being like I said, like being with the other guys, like that was that was a great time.
Mm-hmm. So you were, I didn't even realize you were there for the T-Mac dunk. You were also there for another iconic dunk, the Vince Carter over Frederick Weiss dunk. Just talk me through that from your perspective there.
Yeah, well, like you're on the bench, and that's like one of those things you can't even like see that coming. The reaction of like, wow, like did he really? Okay, he did it.
There's no way he went over the top of it.
Yeah, it was like unbelievable. Yeah, no, that was that. I mean, that's probably the greatest basketball player I've ever seen in person. That was just unbelievable.
I mean, that's if you're going to pick one to be, have front row seats for. I feel like you got a couple good candidates there.
Yeah, no doubt.
We won't keep you too much longer. I did mention you were the founder of the Future Foundation. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the Future Foundation is a not-for-profit organization. My wife and myself, we founded back in 2001, so around the time that I was with the Hawks. And the purpose of the organization is to help bridge the gaps for underserved young people in the Metro Atlanta area. And our focus primarily is on education, life skills, and just overall preparedness for college and exploring opportunities beyond. I grew up, before high school in South West Atlanta. So trying to hopefully give perspective to young people beyond just our neighborhood.
Yeah.
We've been fortunate in that time. We've been fortunate, young people that have been connected to us. And I want to say we've, close to 20,000 young people, come through our program.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We service almost over 1,000 a year now, but, have graduated high school, gone on to some form of secondary education, either college or trade school. So the work has been extremely rewarding for us. It's hard work, especially during this time. You get to see firsthand, the heightened disparities in resources and education. Many of our young people not having technology, not having, suffering from food inequities. But the work and seeing the outcomes has been extremely rewarding.
Now, is that like giving back, helping? Is that something that you knew you always wanted to do, or is that like something that came along once you got into the league?
Yeah, I'll say. Well, I'd say two things. One, I have parents. My mother and my father were both just people, like community people.
Right.
And we were always somehow involved in something community oriented. Of giving, sharing. And we didn't have a lot, but it would be sharing time, sharing good information, a good word. So that that was just like that's just the cloth, so to speak, that I come from. And then I will say, just the Magic Johnsons as I came in, Alonzo, Gary Payton, so many guys that were giving.
You were already doing that, yeah.
I was doing that, and I didn't quite understand what it meant. I had to find what was, like Future Foundation, our purpose, that meant something to me. But it was so many, guys that I looked up to that were just doing an outstanding job of like sharing and giving. Kevin Johnson, who was a Cal guy, one of my classmates at Cal, he had come through a similar type program that Kevin Johnson, founded in Arizona. And that was his path to Cal, to school. So that did, that the work that, the players ahead of me were doing, that did inspire me. But, my parents also said, I'd say the foundation.
Definitely. Now, one last question, something we like to ask all our legends. We're getting together part 2 or season 2 of our playlist. So what are you listening to when you're, on the way to the office, around the house, in the car? What can be old school, new school? What's in your headphones?
Man, it depends on the mood, man. That's a good question, man. I'm looking down right now to see like what's my latest, what's kind of in the latest.
Yeah, what's in the rotation?
Like right now, what's getting heavy play is like this new Bruno Mars.
Okay.
I'd say if I went a little further back, probably some Aretha Franklin.
Okay, some old school.
Yeah, and if I had to go, if you go hip hop is, probably, my era of Tupac and Jay-Z.
Okay, we'll get a nice mix on there. We'll throw a couple old school songs on there for you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Shareef Abdur-Rahim, man, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you, Taylor.
Of course, thank you. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Yes, sir.
Right, that'll do it for this week's Legends Live. As you know, we got new episodes live every Thursday, usually at 5 p.m., 4 p.m. Central, on the NBA Alumni's Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch page. I'd like to remind everybody you can catch replays of any episode at legendsofbasketball.com/legendslive. You can catch the audio replay to any of our conversations by searching for Legends Live wherever you get your podcast. I'd like to give a big thank you to Shareef for joining us. Thank you to Bridget, Julio, and Aaron behind the scenes. Thank you all for watching, and we will catch you next Thursday.